You've come this far, and that by itself already says a lot. It says you are no longer available to live on autopilot. It says you no longer accept smaller versions of yourself. It says that something in you has awakened and refuses to go back to sleep. But today, I need to tell you the most important part of this entire series. The new version of you that you are building is not a place you arrive at. It is a way of being in the world. It is an internal posture. It is a daily choice. The old version of you does not disappear by decree. It doesn't vanish just because you decided to change. It simply loses space in the same proportion that the new version gains coherence. And coherence is not born from force. It is born from repetition. Today you are not going to learn how to be strong. You are going to learn how to remain whole, without internal war, without exaggerated effort, without returning to cycles you already understand. Today, you are not finishing something. Today, you are changing your foundation. I want to tell you the story of someone who went through exactly this. She went through a deep process. She looked inward. She recognized patterns. She cut illusions. She rebuilt her self-perception. Inside, she was different, clearer, firmer, more adult, but the world still treated her the same. On the first day, someone tested her boundaries. On the second, someone tried to activate her guilt. On the third, an old pattern resurfaced, disguised as casual, and she thought she was failing, but she wasn't. She was being tested, because every new identity goes through three inevitable trials. 1. The trial of the environment. The world tries to fit you back where you've always been. 2. The emotional trial. Old feelings try to regain control. 3. The trial of coherence. Are you going to act like who you are now, or who you used to be? When she understood this, something shifted. It wasn't the environment, it wasn't the people, it was her. And when the change is real, the world doesn't argue, it adjusts. That is exactly what is happening with you. Now I am going to tell you something that separates those who transform their lives from those who return to the beginning with more frustration. The new version of you only sustains itself if you stop negotiating with the old version. Negotiating is more dangerous than regressing. Negotiating is justifying what no longer makes sense, tolerating what you know hurts, accepting emotional crumbs, keeping habits that no longer fit, responding to triggers you already recognize, over-explaining, seeking approval, pleasing those who benefit from your old version. And here is the truth, raw, without makeup. Either you honor who you are becoming, or the old version returns to take control, not because it is stronger, but because it is more familiar. The choice is daily and silent. The old version doesn't shout, it waits. It appears when you're tired, when you're sensitive, when something disappoints you, when someone provokes you, when fear whispers, and it speaks with a familiar voice. Let it go. You don't need all this. You're overreacting. Go back to what you know. Be more flexible. You can't sustain this. Who do you think you are? These voices are not signs of failure. They are signs of expansion. Every new identity provokes resistance, internal and external, and there is only one response that works: silent coherence. No speeches, no confrontation, no explanation, only aligned action, repeated, consistent. See if something here touches you. You set boundaries, but then feel guilty. You stand up for yourself, but consider backing down. You decide something, and the old version pulls hard. You change, and someone tries to push you back into the old place. You respect yourself, and someone gets bothered. You prioritize yourself, and suddenly you're called selfish. If this is happening, breathe. It's not a mistake. It's confirmation, because no one tries to pull down someone who isn't rising. Identity is not fixed by intention, not by affirmation, not by emotional promises. Identity is fixed through 1. Coherent decisions, even small ones, even uncomfortable ones. 2. Maintained boundaries, without justification, without spectacle. 3. Repeated choices until they become natural. 4. Aligned environment, or at least a respectful one. 5. Permission for conscious failures, without guilt, without giving up. 6. Active awareness, recognizing the pattern before it consumes you. 7. Adult posture, not asking for approval, not begging for understanding, not negotiating your principles. This is how the new version builds itself, in silent layers, solid, real. Day 7. Action. Choose one silent commitment with yourself. Write on a piece of paper. From today on, I act as the version I am becoming, and below it, write only one. One behavior, one boundary, one principle, one posture. Not 10, not 20, one. And tomorrow, you fulfill it, without announcing it, without explaining it, without posting it. The deepest changes make no noise. Today, you are not closing an external cycle. You are closing something inside. What happened over these 7 days was not motivation. It was internal reorganization. Now you know where you sabotaged yourself, why you repeated cycles, why you quit, why you went back, who you were, who you are becoming, and how to sustain it. And that cannot be lost. End of day 7. End of the series. Beginning of your new coherence. Reflection. During these 7 days, you didn't learn techniques, you learned truth. And truth doesn't motivate, truth repositions. You saw where you got lost, you understood why you returned, you saw how you sabotaged yourself. And you discovered that change is not a peak of strength, but an internal state of presence, repeated in silence. These 7 days did not create a new version of you. They merely revealed the woman you already were, but hadn't yet had the courage to sustain. Now everything changes, not because you know more, but because you see yourself more clearly. And when a woman truly sees herself, no one can put her back in the old place again. End of the series. Beginning of your new coherence. You are not the same person who started this series. Now it is your responsibility to be faithful to who you are becoming. This conversation doesn't end here. Be well.